Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Hashtag Sports for another edition of Friday Night Lights. Here with my good buddy Tommy. Tommy, how are you doing tonight?
What is going on, Joe? It seems like it's been a long time since I got to talk to you, man.
It does seem like maybe too long, but yeah, not a lot going on. And we'll talk about some possible future plans for Friday Night Lights as things kind of calm down around the football circles. At least we hope they stay calm during the rest of the off season because more news is not good at this point. But guys, we want to welcome you. Obviously, no Mike today, no Mikey. Had some graduation things going on. It's that time of year, so we know that we have young viewers as well. So if you're watching this either live or if you're watching this after, and you're one of those graduates, congratulations, man. I don't remember my high school graduation. I'm a little too old not to remember that far back. But Tommy, do you remember your high school graduation?
That was a long time ago, buddy. Long time ago, 97. So
97. All right. So yeah. So it's been a while. It's been a while. But again, congratulations to all you guys. We already have some people in chat. Dwayne, of course, in here. Rick, good to see you. Not much going on yet, but we are going to talk some Buffalo Bills football. We had OTAs, the first 2 weeks of OTAs, obviously in the books. So we'll talk about that a little bit. And we'll talk about the match. If some of you watched the match, that was something interesting. And two former Buffalo Bills / played for every single team in the league. Players retired, so we'll talk about that as well. But I wanted to start with OTAs, and we'll start with week one of OTAs. And guys, if you have any questions in the chat, hey Bills fan 1970, good to see you. Let us know. Let us know. We'll happily go over that with you guys. But let's start with week one of OTAs. Obviously, I think the big news coming into OTAs, at least the first day, was Von Miller. Would you agree, Tommy, or do you think there was something else? Actually, and the stats of Poyer too, right?
yeah, no, I mean, listen, OTAs are what they are. They're not mandatory.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of the veterans usually don't show up. I mean, that's not
Yeah.
like uncommon.
Right.
Most of this team, most of the players on this team's been here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like they're unfamiliar. We got brand new head coach or
Mm-hmm.
so I don't sweat guys like especially vets not showing up like a Poyer, Micah
Mm-hmm.
Hyde. Like that's not, listen, those guys been together for the longest here, right? Like
Right.
they know their role, they know what to do. It's not like they're out of shape, they're doing their things. And the Poyer, listen, when the mini camp starts up, which is mandatory, that'll be interesting. Then we can start
Mm-hmm.
maybe talking about, okay, all right, this is serious. It's not, he's not coming to mini camp. But right now, I'm not sweating it. I did like Von Miller showing up. I thought that was
Yeah.
really good because listen,
Mm-hmm.
Von Miller's not familiar with this team. He's not familiar with the
Right.
young guys like Gregory Rousseau, Boogie Basham. He's
Mm-hmm.
not familiar with Sean McDermott. He's not familiar with Leslie Frazier, how they want things done. So it's good for him to get in there, talk to the young guys, especially, right? Get to know
Mm-hmm.
your teammates. So that was cool of him because he didn't have to.
Right.
He could have been like, oh, I'm good. Like I'll come in shape. I'm ready to go when mini camp starts. So,
Right.
but no, that was stand up of him. I think that was the right
Mm-hmm.
thing to do in my opinion.
Yeah.
Um, Other than that, no, man, it's been exactly what you expect from OTAs, man.
Yeah, and in fact, to your point, I think it says a lot about the Buffalo Bills culture that most of the veterans did show up, right?
Mm-hmm,
Because we
mm-hmm.
saw a big difference, and we'll talk about a little bit between week one and week two as far as the veterans showing up. But going to Poyer, Coach McDermott said in a press conference during OTAs that he actually sat down with Poyer during that Mike Hyde softball charity event, and they had a great conversation. But business is still business, so good to
Yeah,
see that they're still communicating. And I'm glad to see McDermott understands the business part of it as well, and that's something we have to remember as fans. Like it's still a business to these guys. So whatever
yeah,
they have to get their money,
100%.
let's do it. So Rick comes in, and we were going to talk about this, Rick, but since you asked the question, we'll bring it up a little earlier than anticipated. I thought I read somewhere that Shakir got injured. I didn't read that. Tommy, I'll ask you in a second. He asked if everyone came out of OTAs healthy. Tommy, do you hear anything about Shakir? I did not.
I didn't hear anything about. I didn't hear anything really about any major
Mm,
injury coming out of OTAs. It could have
right.
maybe so. Maybe it was like like a something slight injury, but
Mhm.
I didn't hear it. Trust me, it would have made its rounds already by now.
Right.
I would have heard about it. So if it was probably just nothing to worry about.
And then we do have Dwayne comes in with a lower leg injury day to day.
See,
So
day to
again,
day
nothing to worry
is
about.
you know
It was probably a
nothing to
BS
worry about.
then.
Might have been a
But,
slight sprain. When they say lower leg injury, it's usually a sprained ankle.
yeah.
Something like that. So I really want to worry about it.
Yeah, it's nothing to worry about at this point. Listen, these coaches are not going to push these players in OTAs to do more than
No, there's
the
plenty of
bare
time.
minimum. That's right.
There's plenty of time.
But Rick, to your point, Dawson Knox did not participate in week 1 or week 2. But
Yep.
as Tommy and I were talking off camera before we went live, he was at the charity softball event and he played softball. So it's not like he's not staying active or that's a
Right.
serious enough
Same with Spencer Brown, by the way, because I know they said something about Spencer Brown's back or something. Or I heard something like that, but he was also at the charity thing, and they said he hasn't shown any anything serious, or he wouldn't have been. He's not wearing a back brace or anything. So I think he'll be okay. I think this is all just minor stuff, and that's okay. It's good to get this minor stuff out of the way before the real camp starts, before preseason starts.
Yeah, and with OTAs, and Tommy, correct me if I'm wrong, the OTAs don't work like the regular season. In the regular season, when you do the injury report, you have to tell them everything. You have to tell the NFL everything about injuries, unless of course you're Tom Brady. Apparently, you don't have to tell them everything. But for the most part, in the NFL, if a team is not honest and forthright about a player's injury, they get fined or whatever have you. So. That's fine. We have someone coming in saying they want Shakir as the punt/kick returner. Tommy, I personally don't. I want him playing, behind Jamison Crowder in the slot. I think that's what he would do best. Maybe as the fourth guy on the outside in the slot. But what do you think about Shakir potentially being the punt/kick returner?
No, I think it's going to be another one of those competition things. I still think Marquez Stevenson is still in play, even though he hasn't had a great OTA to start. But I'm not really worried about it just yet. Then they brung in, as you guys know, Tavon Austin. He can also probably, which is more than likely, is going to compete for that kick returner, punt returner. I can't see him competing for a wide receiver spot. And then you still got McKenzie, to be honest with you, who listen, right now we have our slot guy, which is Crowder. So I doubt McKenzie's going that slot position. Where are we going to use McKenzie? McKenzie's going to be the gadget guy, right? So the gadget guy could also be the kick returner guy, punt returner guy. So what I would like ideally, and I wanted this last year, just put McKenzie back in kick return with, let's say maybe if Austin makes team or Marquez Stevenson. I would prefer Stevenson if he can get his act right. So you have Stevenson, you got 2 speed burners back and kick returner, and then on punt returner, I think you should have an open competition there because that's the toughest in my opinion. The punt returns. You got to really play that smart, man.
Yeah, I just don't want to see Micah Hyde returning any more punts. I really don't.
I don't either. He's just a Micah Hyde was the safe bet.
Right.
He wasn't going to do anything really, but he was more of the, we know he's not going to make a mistake. Kind of to be honest with you, Andre Roberts at the end. You knew he wasn't really going to return a kick for a touchdown. That part of his game probably slowed down a little bit, but you knew he wasn't going to make a mistake, right? He was going to field it right or let the ball bounce, behind him and go in the end zone. Yeah. I think that's where we're struggling. Like Marquez Stevenson, he's a young guy. You got to remember 2 guys. Marquez Stevenson was injured most last year. Then he got thrown in the fire right away. All right, go return kicks, punt. So it's a little tough, man. I don't think he was 100%. So I think this is his year. If he doesn't do that part right, I can see him definitely being on the roster bubble.
Yeah, and maybe with the start to OTAs, you have to question that a little bit more already, right? Again, had a few drops in OTAs, so
not good.
It's not a good start. But obviously, he'll get his chance in preseason.
And it's not over yet.
Right.
Exactly. Camp preseason. It's not over yet.
Right. So he'll have plenty of time. I do tell everyone also, we have Tavon Austin. Tavon Austin used to have fumble issues too. Tavon Austin had 3 seasons early in his career where he had 5 lost fumbles. Since then, last 3 seasons, he's had 2 fumbles total or something like that. I looked up earlier today. So, so these things can turn around pretty easily.
And by the way, Dwayne with the comment, everybody like had a 50-yard gain against New England. Right? Like everybody looked good in that game. So I'm not going to take just the one, but I'm not saying he's bad. He just we can't have one of the best safeties in the league back there returning punts.
Right. Yeah. My biggest issue with having him back there is the fear of injury. Not like when he's back there.
That's it.
Yeah, when he's back there, I joke. I'm like, listen, as soon as that ball's in the air, just call for fair catch. Like, I don't want to see you get hit. Just as soon as that ball's in the air, I don't care who's around. Just boom, put your hand up.
Yeah, last thing, it could be not even get hit. It could be a stupid freak play.
Right.
Or, know, and you're like, oh my God. Like really? Like that, we needed that right now. Now we're in real trouble. So no, man, I'm good with him. Just he's good for in case, like he's good as an emergency guy. Right? Like, okay, like we had to do last year. Fill him in the playoffs, fine. We don't trust anyone. I'm good with that, but we shouldn't have that problem entering this season. We should have our guys lined up.
Yeah, you still remember that game last season where both Roberts and Stevenson were, or not Roberts, I'm sorry, McKenzie and Stevenson were inactive, and Coach McDermott said after the game that he just needed someone he could trust or something like that. Like I was like it was a clear shot. But it was true though. The truth hurts sometimes, but
I even called that. I called that on one of our shows. I don't remember because it was somebody asked. I said, "Watch, don't be shocked. Micah Hyde's like the punt return guy entering the playoffs," and sure enough, he was.
So one other thing I want to talk about week 1, real quick. There was a fight. First Bills fight of the season has already taken place, and it was between a guy that, to be honest, I don't want to see fighting all that much. Stephon Diggs. He can stay away from the fights. And it actually turned out there are a few of our defensive players got involved here. It started with Dane Jackson. So I'll break it down for you guys the way Matt Perino broke it down in one of his videos. I guess it was a quick out route or something like that to Stephon Diggs. Dane Jackson was on the coverage. Jaquan Johnson was playing the slot or the safety position. He came over as well. And then at the end of the play, they got up and start. Dane Jackson and Stephon Diggs started kind of going. Not obviously, it's an OTA fight, right? And not the same as like fighting, So and then they got into it. But then Elijah Griffin got heated, and he actually, as you said, Tommy, before we went on the air, he got kicked out, right?
He did. He got kicked out, but it's not. Listen, this is the first of probably many scuffles we're going to have, especially when the pads get on, when things get heated during camp, like mandatory camp. Especially with the offensive line and defensive line, those guys usually always have a fight because those are the guys that are going back and forth, like hitting each other more than anyone on the field. So this I don't think it's anything to like. To me, I don't mind it because I feel as long as it doesn't hit the locker room. To me, it's just, hey, man, these guys are battling. That means they want it more. I'm good with that. I'm okay with that as long as nobody gets hurt on the field. That's going to happen, man. It's all love in the locker room afterward. I didn't hear anything negative afterwards. I think Deion Dawkins even talked about it and said, hey, it's all good. Like, as long as it doesn't want a locker room, listen, it happens all the time, which is this is not uncommon. Like, look, we've seen camp fights where people get their jaw broke or their eye socket pop. Like then it's serious, right? Now we're like, okay, like that's not cool. But this is nothing I wouldn't worry about.
Right. It's not like you heard a report, like you said, someone getting injured or anything like that. And Deion Dawkins and I think Von Miller, like a few of the team leaders went over to Elijah Griffin afterwards and just tried to calm him down, right? Like just say, hey, just don't bring it into the locker room. It's fine. Me personally, I don't mind when vets go after each other. I don't have an issue with Dawkins getting into a battle with Von Miller or something like that, which might happen, right? Because they're going to go up against each other.
Good.
Yeah. It's not a good look for a second year player, in my opinion, if he's needing to be restrained.
I don't mind it, Joe, because you got to remember. I know where you're coming from, but you got to remember these guys, like especially like Griffin, he's scrapping for a job, right. So he's trying to just throw everything on the field, right? He's giving 100 times 10, right? Like he's doing. So I don't mind that scrappiness, that extra, that fight, that dog, especially for a guy that his roster spot's not guaranteed. He's, he barely came back. I think we signed him back on the practice squad or something like that. We gave him some kind of 1 year, like some commitment deal. I don't even know, some weird deal, but doesn't mean he can't get good again, right? So he's out there. He's trying to, do everything he can. So that's all. I don't mind. Actually, I think it's opposite for me. I don't mind the young guys. I'd rather have the young guys showing that fight, that dog, than the old vets, because you figure the old vets by now, they know the game.
Yeah.
They know the routine. You know what I mean? Like they don't got time for that. Like I mean, in my opinion, that's how I see it.
Kind of to your point, you want to see that dog. You want to see that fight in everybody. Like you don't want,
no doubt.
You don't want Stephon Diggs getting complacent, saying I'm the all-star, so I'm fine. My roster spot's fine because I'm Stephon Diggs. No, you want and the last thing that Stephon Diggs wore that C last year. The last thing that looks good is if Dane Jackson pushes you and you just like don't do anything back. You know what I mean? Like you're just like, let me go back to the huddle, yada yada. Like, nah. And I think someone said in here, competition against the young guns on each side of the field. I expect that. Like, iron. What was the saying that Stephon Diggs?
Iron sharpens iron.
Sharpens iron, right? So, and Deion Dawkins talked about that after week 1 of training camp because Von Miller beat him a few times, and he was excited to have Von Miller there because he's going up against a guy in Deion Dawkins' words who has maxed out every contract for a reason. Like that's the guy you want on your team, so that way you get better as well. And you all, speaking of, go ahead.
No, but usually at least for me, if I'm a vet out there and I'm going against a rookie, you're not going to show me I don't need to fight with you. I'll just dog you on the field. You know what I mean? Like that's my mentality. You know what I mean? Like if you're getting in the you know how that is. If you're getting in a young guy's head or someone's head, you won. You already won. There's no, to me at least, you know what I mean? I get what you're saying, but if you're a vet, you've been there, done that, you know who you are. Listen, all right, I'll just go right back to huddle. I'm gonna burn you again, and then you can get mad and huffy and puffy, like whatever. You know what I mean? Like I already won the battle, so like so I guess I get that on the vet side, but the rookie side, the young guy side, I don't mind the edginess to that, the little. As long as you don't hurt the vet guy, as long as you don't hurt your teammate, I'm good with a little bit. If you're just trying to if that's how you boost yourself up, you're trying to just get yourself motivated or whatever. Everyone is different, I guess, Joe. I guess, and that
absolutely
is my point.
And that could be part of the game as well. Like Stephon Diggs could be like, listen, you're about, if Dane Jackson, if you get this job as CB2, you're going to go up against some of the best wide receivers in the game, and they all talk trash. Like they all talk trash.
Right. You want to get thrown out? Right.
Right. Exactly. Like you need to be ready for that in a game, because if you go to, even the soft OTA push, it's going to get you ejected. It's going to get you 15. So.
Oh, yeah. And then the coach is on your ass, right? McDermott would jump right, get right on that ass if you get a penalty.
You will not be CB2 for long if you get those penalties. Absolutely. But speaking of iron sharpening iron, one thing we didn't talk about before we got on the air, what did you make of Luke Kuechly being at OTA?
It's pretty cool. He's always seems like he's always at Bills, rocking the Bills gear. But listen, guys, anyone that's thinking that's anything, it's nothing. Steve Smith was rocking Bills gear on one Bills Live, so he ain't gonna be our coach anytime soon, or wide receiver coach. So don't get too far ahead of yourselves, guys. But it's cool that he shows up. I'm that Carolina connection. It's always good for the young guys, once again, to hear from a veteran guy. The guy's one of the best ever to do it. So that's just cool. But that's going to happen all the time. We got Bruce Smith showing up here and there. You got Daryl Halley. You always have these kind of always, man. Always have these kind of vets showing up. But they're everywhere. Luke Kuechly will probably be some other team, in 2 weeks. So I wouldn't put anything with it. It'd be nice. If he could join the team eventually, but I don't. Right now, he's just there as a kind of a McDermott thing, favor in a way. I'll pop in. So but it's cool. It is cool. I always like that, and I'm sure the young guys appreciate that, like the Greg Rousseaus and the linebackers, the young dudes. Yeah. Von Miller could give a shit, I'm sure. Like he's playing, like the old vets are like, I've seen this guy a million times, bro. I'm good.
So that's pretty much a lot of what happened in week one. Again, a pretty good week overall of OTAs, and the biggest news, no one got seriously injured, right? Like that's the biggest news.
Right.
You know what? OTAs, training camp, all that stuff, preseason, it's all about no one get hurt. No one get hurt. Show what you're made of. Play your best, but do not get hurt. And we didn't have any of that. Week two for me, Ken Dorsey had a press conference, something actually we talked about on the show 2 weeks ago. One of the questions he was asked was, is he going to be on the field or in the booth come the regular season? And he said he's going to try out in preseason, both in the booth and on the field, and see which way he likes. Tommy, I think you want him in the booth, correct?
I do. And real quick, Dwayne, serious question. I'll answer that serious question for you. I have Ray-Bans. They're awesome. Like I love Ray-Bans, and I could see all the chats.
Yeah, so, I like how you had to lean forward to see the chat, but that's okay. That's all right.
Let me see.
Let me see theirs real quick.
I have bad eyes though in general, but even if I didn't wear sunglasses, I'd be like going to the screen. But no, they're perfect. But anyways, what was your question again? I got thrown off the sunglasses.
No, that's fine. Yeah, I get it. The glasses take over. Ken Dorsey in the booth or on the field?
Okay.
In the booth, right?
So I always prefer my coordinators in the booth. I know what's his name was down last year. Man, I've drawn a blank. Our defensive coordinator. Not Dable. I know Frazier's on the field, but I prefer them both. To be honest with you, in the box, I feel like you see a lot more. Your communication's a little better, at least for me. But I know that they interviewed Gabe Davis, asking him the same question. Actually, I don't know if you saw that. So Gabe Davis said, he's going in the box. Like he's too fiery. He's too fiery to be on the sidelines. He's just like, we need him up there. And listen, if the players kind of want, if that's already the chatter with the players, then yeah, dude, like you know the deal, man. Go upstairs, go in the box. You don't need to listen. Josh doesn't need to be coddled anymore. We have a very good quarterback coach right now, who he could talk to when he gets to the sideline. So,
and you have,
I think he'll probably test the waters, see it, but I think ultimately he'll be in the box where I think he should be anyway.
You don't know what's best for you until you actually do it, right? And so maybe he's probably leaning booth right now, but if he gets on the field and realizes like, no, this works out great, then that will be where he stays. Now with Leslie Frazier, does he? And I feel like Frazier's been on the sideline most of the time in his career.
He has.
But also with his, assistant head coaching role, he has some other duties on game day as well. So maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know.
Well, he was in the box. I think I want to say when they put Dable in the box, because remember we had. I don't know if you remember that. If you want to go back like a couple of years, I think it was when we were struggling a little bit. I think it was 2019. It might have been 2019. Dable was down on the field. And I remember saying, man, he needs to. Why is this guy not in the? Because we were struggling a little bit, I remember. And I remember they finally put him. McDermott said, go in the box. Remember, he put it. I think it's better if you go up there. And we did. We looked better. And I think Dable liked it better, too. And I don't. It was just weird that the Dable and Allen on the sideline. I didn't like. I kind of felt like it put a little bit more pressure on Allen.
Sure.
Like that's kind of why I like when Barkley came over. I think he came over in 2019, correct? When Barkley came over. Yep. So I kind of like that better because then you had like Allen. That's when Allen needed somebody to talk to, but I think Dable was just too much for him. At the same time, calling plays, and then he makes a bad place to come on a sideline and deal with Dable in his ear. Like it was just a little bit too much. And I think Allen now is way past that point, right? And if you need somebody now, you got Joe Brady. Like I think Ken Dorsey just needs to go up there. You got all the rest of your coaches you can sit and talk to without field noise, without distractions, right? Players walking by you. You know what I mean? Like I like the box, man. Now Frazier and two, Dorsey's gonna. This is kind of a new thing for him, right? He's gonna be
Mm-hmm.
100% in charge, calling the plays.
Right.
Frazier, on the other hand, he's been there, done that, so maybe he's just more comfortable. You know, it's not a big deal for him being on the field, and I get that. And look, our defense has been one of the best in the league since he's come over. So
absolutely,
I'm good with Frazier still being on the field, but I think Dorsey, at least for now, needs to go in the box.
Yeah, I think once a coach proves himself wherever he is at, you're like, just stay there, just stay where you need to be. Now, I do want to get to Dwayne's comment here because I want to put my take in there, Tommy. I want your take as well. Dwayne says, I want both of them in the box. Defense coordinator can tell the offensive coordinator how the other defense is playing against them. If the other defense is doing well, the Bills defensive coordinator Frazier can say, hey, this is what they're doing, and they can work together. I don't think that's how it's going to work because, see, from what I would gather is when the defense is off the field, Leslie Frazier is talking to our defense. No matter where he is, whether he's up in the booth or on the sideline, he's talking to our defense. Like, that's his job. His job is not to watch the other team play defense and then tell Brian Daboll or Ken Dorsey, hey, this is what they're doing. And vice versa, especially for Ken Dorsey, first-year offensive coordinator. He's going to want to get Josh Allen's feedback and be like, what are you seeing? Because reading the defense, that's Josh Allen's job. That's Stephon Diggs' job. That's their job. And that's my opinion. I don't know, Tommy, how you feel about it, but that's what I think.
Yeah. And I mean, Frazier being on the field too, you got to remember him and McDermott talk a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, both defensive guys. So they're constantly going over things like, you know, so I know they could do that on the microphone or whatever, but I think they prefer to like collab with each other, like one-on-one. And like I said, man, Ken Dorsey, the good thing about this, and a lot of people are missing it, is, and me and Mikey actually touched base on this earlier on in the week, the coaches that we brung in, guys, a lot of them have been offensive coordinators. Mike Shula, Brady, and there's another guy too that we brung in. I think so we have 3 former OCs. So he's not alone in this. And a lot of these guys know what they're doing. Look, Dorsey worked under Shula at Carolina. So they have a very good connection, and he's going to need that veteran kind of, I think, leadership in a way, even though this is his role for the first year, I think. So I think they need to be in the booth like Shula, like just to help him out a little bit when things are like maybe when he gets a little flustered or something. You know, it's good to have that veteran, hey, I've been there. What do you think? Kind of guy to look over. And if you're on the field, I just don't know if you can have all that communication without distractions. That's all, you know, that's where I see it. But we'll see. I have no idea. But right now, if the players are kind of like already saying they want him in the box, he's probably going to be in the box, bro. Like, do what the players, you know, especially Josh Allen's like, I want you up there. Then he's going to go up there.
It's Josh Allen's decision, right? Now, two very noteworthy. Well, one very noteworthy thing, and one thing that I want the chat to give me a hard time about. So the punt god, 78-yard punt. Tommy, I want your reaction. He totally outkicked the punt coverage. Like, it was just gone.
Thank you, Dwayne. See, I saw that, Dwayne, with my sunglasses. Yeah, man. I saw the one punt. Beautiful punt. We know he could do this. Like, this is that's nothing new. Like, what I want to see is the kicks, the angle kicks.
Right.
I want to see the hang time, stuff like that. Like, but we won't really get to see him in work until preseason, like around that time, like where he's, how far he's come along, and holding kicks for Bass, right? Which is everyone wants to know, because I think we all think that Matt Araiza, punt guy, will eventually get the punting down, like the things that he's maybe needs to work on, the hang time, the corner kicks. But I think what we're all worried about is the holding, right? Like, that is because Bojo wasn't a terrible kicker. Like, Bojo had a good leg.
Right.
He could, like, I remember a Buffalo game, he kicked it like 80 yards or something. I don't know if you remember that one. It was like 80. It was long. I was like, damn.
Yeah.
Like, that dude, like, he had a leg. His problem was he was inconsistent a little bit in the kicking, and the
Yep.
holding was horrendous.
Well,
Horrendous, right? So
one thing we could
that's
talk
what I'm
about,
concerned about.
and that was the topic conversation. And I agree with you about Matt Ariza's kick, right? Like, we knew he could kick it a mile. That's not the question. So, like, for people who might be in the chat or watching this after the fact, who remember my draft take on Matt Ariza, as far as me not being thrilled with the pick, like, okay, he kicks the ball far. Again, I want to see how he can do with those directional angle kicks, getting good hang time, all the things that matter a little bit when it comes to field position, and like you said, holding for Bass, because right now, 2 weeks into OTAs, there's Bass has only had one holder, and that's still Matt Hawk. Like, we have not seen the punt god hold yet for Tyler Bass, and to me, that's a problem. We're 2 weeks into OTAs. We're 2 weeks into OTAs, and we still use a punter who we don't plan to be on this team. No one around here plans on Matt Hawk being on this team, holding for Bass. So I don't know what's your take on Matt Hawk 2 weeks into OTAs.
He ain't making the team is my take.
Right.
One. Like, I don't think he's making the team. And Dwayne coming in with the backup quarterbacks that used to hold. Yeah, I grew up in that era, by the way. And I always remember that's how it was. Shit, even on video games, right?
Yeah.
Like, I remember it was the backup quarterback, right? Always.
But like Mikey would say, Tony Romo ruined that for everybody, right?
Yeah, but Tony Romo, yeah, but why?
I don't know. I don't agree with it.
You don't telling me Tony Romo's the only guy to botch a hold, like on a kick, on an extra point, or it's like
all the time.
Yeah, so I don't know if I agree with that. I don't care. Listen, if Casey Keenum was an awesome placeholder, right? Like holding the kick for go bring him out there. Fine. That's one less thing I got to worry about with punt god, and punt god could just be the man at punting. Right? Like I'm totally okay with that. Like, nobody, I don't think anyone would complain, because how is that going to hurt Casey Keenum by holding a kick like that? Like, he has no one's going to hit him. Like, our backup quarterback's going to be fine of injury, right? Like, no one's slamming into Keenum. So, like, but the problem is, has he ever held a kick? Probably not, right? Because we're in a different era now. Now it's the punter.
I was just thinking of last year, because you said who would hit the holder hard for a kick, and there was, and I forget, it was the backup for the Steelers. It was back for the Steelers.
That's rare, bro.
Yeah, it was a fake, and he took it. Whoa. Yeah, he took it, and he just refused to slide and go out of bounds. So someone came and just lit him off, and it was funny to watch. I mean,
I remember our kicker. Was it our kicker that got laid out that one time? What was his name?
Yeah, in the Pro Bowl. In the Pro Bowl.
No, that's our punter. I'm talking about our kicker.
Okay.
Hoshka.
Yeah.
Remember when?
Against Seattle. Oh my gosh, I was so mad,
dude.
Well, not just the Seattle game.
What was it? A missed kick or a block kick, and he got like level right or something.
Well, so yes, it was right before half. It was a long kick. It was right before half. It was a long kick. So
that's
the Jets had someone back there to return it, and he just gets leveled out of nowhere. There's no flag. There's nothing, and
he was done. Remember,
he was done. Yeah,
that was it.
That was the
and he never kicked. He did not kick the same. I got that. That's when he. That's when he was done. Yeah. Like that was. That was a wrap for Oscar, but but see, like that, but that's different. You know what I mean? I'm talking about just play. I just don't, like I said, man, I don't think they train these guys anymore to do it. So Casey Keenum's probably never held a kick in his life. You know what I mean? So like the chance of him going out there, running out there holding a kick is not going to happen. So we'll see what happens. I'm not worried about it right now, though. Listen, it's early, Joe. Like, you know what I mean? What I would think, what I would like is for, Matt Ariza to get with Bass, not not when camp, just whenever. Go out and practice at your local high school, whatever. That's no one's gonna. You have no worries. You're not Josh Allen, neither one of you. No one's gonna run up and get your autograph and harass you when you're kicking kicks. You know what I mean?
I promise you.
No one. I wouldn't even if I drive in my car and I see a kicker guy, I'm not gonna be like,
Right.
Wait a minute.
That's what I was about to say. I wouldn't be like, wait, was that Tyler Bass? Wait, no. Yeah. There are probably like 4 or 5 Bills players where if I was walking down the street, I would recognize them right away. You know,
Right. Like Von
ah,
Miller, Trey White has that look.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Gabe Davis
Deion
has a certain
Dawkins
look.
probably just because of his
Diggs, Allen. Right. Deion Dawkins.
Yeah,
But there's some I'd be like, I swear, bro. And I'd be shame on me. You know, McKenzie I would recognize, but some guys I wouldn't. I swear to God.
I would.
Like I might not recognize Neil. You know, there's some guys I wouldn't recognize.
I wouldn't recognize Dane Jackson. Like I just wouldn't, just because now
Cam Lewis.
Right, Dawson Knox. I might just because of the hair. Right, you might see Dawson Knox's hair and be like, "There's only one guy that has his hair." Like
right.
But yeah, like there's so many players. I'm like, yeah, no, I wouldn't recognize him at all. You know, even Mitch Morse. Like I don't think just looking at him one time, I'd even be like, that's Mitch Morse.
It would take me a minute to go, I know this guy.
Right.
Where have I seen this guy?
All right. So Dwayne says, hold on, Tommy. You're driving your car and someone kicks it 70 yards at a high school field. You're going to know who it is. But that's you're driving by. You're not stopping to watch the guy.
I'm talking about it. Yeah, I'm talking about like just even if I'm running the track, which I'm never running, guys. So.
If I'm walking the track.
Let's say I'm going to get a candy bar on the track.
There's a vending machine.
There's a vending machine for the guy that's running. I'm getting him a Gatorade. And I see Tyler Bass kicking. I certainly wouldn't know it's him. Like, hey, you happy with that? Golly.
You would get your iPhone out. You take like a short video. You put it on Twitter. Be like, hey guys, look at this guy. And
well,
it's like Tommy.
While I'm eating my Butterfinger. Who's this guy kicking it 65 yards with no problem?
Bill should sign this guy.
Right. Wow.
That's funny.
This guy can punt, man.
That's great. So actually, speaking of Keenum, so week 2 of OTAs, Josh Allen wasn't there because he was getting ready for the match in Vegas. Must have been an awful life for him. But Keenum got a majority of the reps in week 2 of OTAs. Does that mean Keenum's the clear backup and Barkley's fighting for that roster?
Of course. Come on, Joe.
Hey, listen.
That's silly.
I want Webb to be the backup. Webb's been there forever.
Webb. Oh, I'm so done with Webb. Get out of here, Webb.
No,
man. I love Bills Mafia. I love you guys so much, but my God, stop it already with Webb and Barkley. Like when we got Barkley back, I was so pissed, dude. Like I was like, you better go out and get a backup, bro, because I don't mind this guy. Like with the towel, that's cool. Like you know, but I need somebody like a backup, bro. Come on, dude. Like so when we got Keenum, I was like, okay, like there you go. So Barkley was just more of like what, like. Just the guy that's. I mean, you know what I think they're going to do with Barkley?
Preseason, so
he'll be a I think he'll be just like a practice. This is what I think was going to happen. I think Keenum's going to be the backup, regardless. Listen, they didn't trade for Keenum just to cut him. It's highly unlikely, right?
Right.
Keenum will back up. What they'll probably do is they'll cut Barkley. No one's going to bit Barkley up, guys. So relax. All Bills Mafia. Then they're going to re-sign to Barkley. They're going to re-sign Barkley. After all the waivers cleared, all the crap to the practice squad. And he'll be like the guy helping out in the practice squad, you know, for the throw because they need a quarterback throwing to the receivers and the guys on the practice squad. So he'll be the practice squad guy. And maybe when we get to the Super Bowl, we can bring him up to do the towel thing for everybody in the fourth quarter when we're winning. So other than that, Keenum's a backup, bro. 100%, dude. They're 100%. And he deserves to be the backup. He's been a very good quality backup for his career. By the way, I'm glad we're talking about this. Me and Mikey had this unbelievable debate. And I cannot believe the chat got behind him on Monday night when we were talking. This is unbelievable to me. I have to ask you because I'd be shocked if you agree with him. Now, here we go. So we had somebody in the chat ask us if Allen went down, could Keenum lead us to the playoffs, right? And I said, oh, well, how many games? The whole season.
That's the thing.
The whole season. And I said, no, right away. No.
Wow, okay.
No, hell no. So Mike said, no, are you crazy? We're easily. And I said, bro, okay. So how many games? So listen, we won. I'm just saying, last year we went 12 and 5, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
You telling me Casey Keenum would have went 12-5 last season with an easier schedule than Josh Allen did?
No.
Are you telling me just because we have a good team around him, Casey Keenum all of a sudden can match Josh Allen's? Really? Bro, listen. I know the AFC East isn't dangerous. I get it.
All right.
But the Dolphins, no matter what we say, have improved. They have Tyreek Hill. Now, the question mark's still on the Tua, still on the quarterback situation. However, I still think they're Bridgewater's okay, right?
Yeah.
And then you got the Jets, who still had a good draft. They're not going to be anything, but they still are going to play us tough. And you still got New England, who always plays us tough. So you're telling me You're telling me Casey Keenum's going to lead the way? We would have to get. I'm not joking, Joe. AFC's tough. You have to win the East. You have to.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Because if you don't win the East, hypothetically, I don't care if you got 10 wins.
Correct.
Bro, the AFC's stacked.
Correct.
You're not. It's not happening, guys. It's not happening. So Casey Keenum would have to literally win the East, or we lose the East, but we win like 11 or 12 games. And I don't see that happening the whole season.
Hey,
knock on wood, it's never going to happen because Allen's not going to get hurt. But what do you
think? Dwayne, I didn't say anything yet, and you're already telling me I'm smoking something? I have said nothing I haven't said yes or no, and you're like, what you smoking? I haven't said anything, so but I don't know. So I've been thinking about it.
Yes, thank you, Scott. He's insane. Go ahead, Joe. I want to know your opinion
about it. So who beats us in the AFC East? Because I agree with you. There's no way the Bills. There's no way the second team in the AFC East makes wild card. And I agree with you. The AFC is stacked. But
So let's just take it back one season, right?
Yep.
Last season, we're sitting here in I don't remember what week it was, week 4. We're down. We're not even winning the East at this point. The Patriots are. We just got beaten by the Bucks, right? Or the Patriots, and then the Bucks, right? Now we're like a game and a half, I think, behind at that point. We got lucky in a sense that the Patriots lost the following week, and we won, and we started winning from that point on after that Tampa game.
You're right.
And we kind of got we did. It wasn't like we blew out the Patriots and the East, and we won by 4 games, which I expected us to do the start of the season.
Okay.
So my point is, if they, with a rookie quarterback and Mac Jones, which I still don't totally believe in, but they still won 10 games, and they still were leading the East
as week 14.
Late in the season.
Yeah.
So you're talking Casey Keenum playing from week 1 all the way to week 18. It would be. Listen, I could honestly. 8 games, 9 at the most. I'm being honest, guys, and it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But I want a backup quarterback in to win. Let's say if Allen goes down 4 games, okay, he can win at least 2. I'm good with that.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that.
Your backup quarterback's job is just to keep you afloat while your starter's injured.
Right.
But you look around the league, and honestly, you can look around the league at most places except for, you talk about Miami, maybe. But if you knock out their starter for a majority of the season, that team is behind.
It's a wrap.
It's
a wrap most of the time.
And now you're talking about, to Tommy's point, you're talking about the potential MVP of the league getting taken out for the whole season.
Right.
And you bring Case Keenum and you expect them to what? That
totally different player. Right.
Totally different player than Allen. Right. I completely agree with you. But man, this defense is going to be really good too.
I get it, Joe. But it's not.
It's still not going in the East. I'm scared of. Like the reason why we split with New England was because of 30-mile-per-hour wind gusts or 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts or whatever it was. Not saying that's not going to happen again.
But then you got to throw out the whole. Okay, now you're down to Keenum and Barkley.
Yeah,
I mean,
right,
there's a lot
right,
to take in here now, right?
right.
Now Keenum goes down a couple games. Now you got Barkley coming in. You guys cool with that?
No,
Like, I mean,
no.
honestly, like, so, like, it's just
But
a realistic.
yeah,
You got to be real. Like, how many backup quarterbacks, like, in history, not just
right,
Bills related,
correct.
took their team to the playoffs and was just like very few. Now you have the Eagles guy, right? But he came in late in the season.
But the
But
Eagles had already won their
didn't play the
division
whole
by the time that
season.
happened.
Right. He played towards the end, right?
He
So
played last
okay,
2
so
weeks of the regular season.
fine,
Yeah.
right? Okay, cool. The guy for the Reds, watched the football team. Heineke looked good against Tampa Bay, and they're playing.
Yep.
It doesn't mean nothing. Look what happens when the regular season starts. So I'm just saying, like, 18 games, Joe, is a lot.
The last guy I can think of who I was like, wow, that guy really stepped up and took his team far, when Tommy Maddox went out. Because remember, when Ben was drafted in 2004, he was not the starter for the Steelers. Tommy Maddox got his arm busted.
Yeah, I remember.
And
there's been a few.
And there's that Tom Brady guy who did all right for himself.
Brady,
too,
right? 1999, right? 2000.
Yeah.
We're 2022. It's not. Yeah, it's very. I know Castle did it once with the Patriots,
right?
But come on, guys, it doesn't happen. And we're talking when the Patriots did that, the East was terrible,
trash.
Like awful. The East, no matter what you guys say, and I get it, we're going to win the East. And I'm not, don't knock me for saying this, but the AFC in general got a lot better.
Absolutely.
And the East, even the terrible Jets have gotten better. Can they beat us? No, of course not. Can the Dolphins beat us? I don't think so, but that doesn't mean it won't be a dogfight in one of those games.
Right. And let's say they've gotten better on paper, right? Like they've gotten better on paper. We don't know what they're letting.
So have we, though. We can say the same thing, though.
Right.
Yeah, we added Von Miller on paper, but we don't know how the season's going to play. I have no idea. I know. I believe in my team. I know who we have. I know I know the guys that are returning that was there last year, but I don't know Tim Settle's going to work out. I don't know how Daquan Jones is going to work out. So we can say that about every team on paper, but on paper right now, every team has pretty much improved. I will say the only team that really hasn't improved this offseason is the Patriots. They didn't do anything, but I will tell you this: they'll have $70 million in cap space next season, so they're going to do something the following year. And they always fight us, Joe. They
do. I do want to make sure we give a shout out to Scott Blakely, the $4.99 donation from Scott. Thank you very much. We win the division by week 14 this season with Allen. Allen out all year. We do not make the playoffs, in my opinion. I agree with that. I think I know that Paul in their video going over the schedule said that he thinks we have the division wrapped up by the Bears game, which I believe is around week 14, Scott. So he agrees with you as well. But yeah, I would agree that if Case Keenum's our quarterback, I would be very surprised. And to be honest, if Case Keenum's our quarterback and we win the division, I think it says more about how the other three teams aren't as good as we thought
100%.
they were, and not how impressive the Bills. Although Coach McDermott will get credit, whatever, yada yada.
Yeah.
But
that's a great point. That's a great point.
That would be more of the headline there.
But it'll be, listen, guys, regardless of the situation. Casey Keenum's a quarterback for us the whole year, the whole season. It's a wrap. Let's be real. Even if we got to the playoffs, you really come on. Let's be realistic here, guys. It's the last thing I want. It's not going to happen. All right, so let's get that out of our head. We're not going to see Casey Keenum except for maybe week 18. But I just thought it was funny that Mikey was all on board on we're gonna. Sure. I'm like, no, the chances are so slim, bro. It's very hard to win football games in this league, even with a stacked team. We know this, guys. We lost to the Jaguars,
right?
9-6. Come on. I mean, this is with Josh Allen. This isn't Matt Barkley in. We lost 9-6. I'm just saying, it happens.
It happens.
All right. So come on.
The season is so different if we just beat the Jaguars, guys. I just want you all to know that, but that's okay. And the same thing with the Steelers game, right? Week 1, everyone thought we'd beat the Steelers, and look what happened. So, but yeah, so that was a fun little sidetrack. I didn't know that was one of the questions on Monday. But yeah, no, I would agree with you, Tommy, that I don't think Mikey is correct there. I wish he was here to defend himself. I'm guessing that
he'd be going nuts.
I'm guessing his argument is how weak the AFC East might be.
No, believe it or not, it wasn't. His argument was that Casey Keenum was playoff quarterback for the Vikings, even though he's only one season.
Sure.
That he's been in the league for a long time, blah blah blah. And I am not knocking Casey Keenum. Like, I was all on board for getting Casey. Mm-hmm. I was the one screaming, we need a backup quarterback when we got Barkley. I was cool when we got Keenum, but not for the whole season cool with Keenum. Like, I just want him as a backup.
That's why I was backup.
You know what I mean? Like, that's it.
You know that he can hold and I don't mean this as a knock on him, and I think you feel he can hold the clipboard well. And if he's asked to come in for a game or two, you feel
right, whatever.
Right, you don't feel like, and that could happen with Josh Allen. We saw it in the 100%. Raiders game, right? Like, he went out for like a play or two, and it was like, okay. Right. And so, you trust Keenum to the point of saying, he's a good backup, and if he has to come in, it's not, oh no, all hope is lost for like a game or two. It's when you're talking about a series of games, you're like, this isn't going to work for long term. And we have proof that it doesn't work for long term. That's why he's been on so many different teams. Like, that's the point.
Correct. So. And as I know somebody's mentioned, he's the better, like, Keenum matches up with the rest of the East quarterbacks. I mean, I don't know. Does he? I don't know. I don't know how good second-year guy for the Jets is going to be. And who knows? I don't know if Tua maybe is getting back. I have no idea. I don't think Tua's going to impress because I just don't think Tua's the guy. But that's me. I don't know. I'm not a Dolphin fan. I'm not sitting there watching his training camp. Maybe he got better. Maybe he got worse. I don't know. But I could tell you, Teddy, that people can have the same arguments in Miami about Teddy Bridgewater. Right. Is a great backup in his league. He can start. And he's better than I could go with that. Listen, who am I to say you're wrong? Teddy Bridgewater was pretty damn good at one point.
Absolutely.
So I don't know. I
don't know we brought up the loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars last year. So we have an interesting question from Dwayne. Serious question. What game this year is the Jags trap game? Tommy, I don't know if you have the schedule in front of you, so I'll go first so that we pull it up. For me, it's that Thanksgiving 12:30 game against the Lions. The reason for that is we just play on the 20th, so that means we only have 4 days. And I don't think the Lions are going to be really good this year. If you think about a trap game, like the game against the Jaguars, you have to go. To me, you can't go division just because the division games are always dogfights, right? It's rare that you have a division blowout win. So you have to look at your other schedule. And to be honest with you guys, the Bills have a tough schedule this year. So there's not too many bad teams that the Bills play.
No, there's really not. I mean, maybe the Jets are the worst. Right. And they're not, and they've gotten better. They had a great draft.
Yep.
I don't know how the players are going to work out.
Right? Yeah,
Chicago, I would say Chicago. Chicago's the worst. They may be worse than the Jets. I'll be honest with you. Chicago is I don't know what they're doing there. So I would say me personally, I'm going to say Pittsburgh because Pittsburgh beat us last year.
Right.
And they always seem to play us tough, and they have one of the best coaches ever.
Yep.
So I'll say the Pittsburgh game. Pittsburgh at Buffalo. But I still think we win. But I'm just saying, like, if there is a loss, like they're always one of those gritty, tough teams. You got Watt over there who's just a beast.
And it's sandwiched in between 2 really tough games, the Ravens and the Chiefs. So
it is. And we're on the road early on. Like, a lot of people don't understand this schedule in the beginning is tough, man. You got the Rams to start, right?
Yep.
Super Bowl champions on the road, right? Yep. Then you got Tennessee at Buffalo, which is Tennessee's no easy out. We know this. We lost 2 in a row versus them. Yep. Okay, guys. Then you got Buffalo at Miami, so we're going to the Heat, right? Sunny South Florida, so we're traveling right after that tough game against Tennessee. And then you got Buffalo at Baltimore, right? Which is how they play. They got a good defense, a tough team. Then you got Pittsburgh at Buffalo, and we're flying right back to Buffalo to play Pittsburgh, who always plays us tough on defense. And then we play the Chiefs right after at KC, right? And then we get a bye, and then we got Green Bay. Like, this is nothing about the schedule's easy, guys, for the first 7 weeks.
I I think, I mean, luckily we have a long way before this actually happens. I think one of my hot takes for the season is that the Packers will not win their division. I think the Packers have gotten so much worse. I know they still have Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. But yeah, I don't know. I think.
I mean, it's tough to count him out because of the quarterback, Joe. But I agree with you. Like, they're just not helping him at all over there.
No.
But listen, he's the one to sign the contract too.
That's right. That's right. He even the extension. You know, all that drama about how he's leaving, and guess what? He didn't leave. So so it's on him at this point. And speaking of Aaron Rodgers and three other guys, there was the match, right? We got to see Josh Allen play his version of golf, I'm gonna say. He wasn't that great. Tommy, I know you watched a little bit of it. Let me know in the chat what you think, Tommy. What did you see? Did you see the guy get hit?
I did, but I saw it better on somebody had a clip, like they were recording on their phone. So on YouTube, if you guys haven't seen it, it's funny as hell. So the guy's recording and you hear it pop right off this guy's head, bro. So loud. And the guy went down like he got hit by a bullet, man.
Imagine. Because
God, you can't see that golf ball.
You can't see it coming. When those four guys are together, you see how much bigger Josh Allen is than the rest.
Oh my God,
like, Josh Allen's
bro!
Huge. Like, he's
at the chairs. You see him sitting at the chairs, like, bro. His legs are like tree trunks compared to those guys. just his legs, bro. I'm like, oh my God, bro. His shorts were so like tight and short. Like, Joe, he did need to get better shorts. Like, his shorts were mad short. And I think Brady ripped on him for about his shorts too. Yeah. I'm like, oh my God, like Alec, come on, man. But bro, he towered them.
I did like the fact that he had like the Tom Brady photo on his golf ball.
Oh, that was great.
That was hilarious.
That was great. What's with Brady calling him fat though? I don't understand.
Chunky.
Yeah,
I hit that one a little chunky. I call that.
Is he chunky? I didn't think I was chunky. He looks the same to me. Is he? I hope that doesn't like eat at Allen. Allen comes into camp like 50 pounds less.
He's like, I lose some weight.
Damn, Brady got our guy all skinny now. No, but he was terrible. He was terrible at golf. He stick to what he knows best, which is football. But it's all for fun. Like, no, listen, all those guys were pretty damn bad, bro. All those guys were hooking to the crowd. Like nobody. I was like, wow, this guy's pretty good. Like, maybe the best guy out there was Rodgers. Like that, I saw him a little bit more consistent than everybody else. But even he was pretty. You know, he wasn't anything. I was like, wow, this guy can maybe do golf after his career. So we're like, like these guys. Yeah,
it wasn't like watching Tony Romo. Tony Romo actually tried to go out on the PGA Tour. Like, he's really good.
I'm sure there's some guys I'm sure are good. You know, but yeah, and I don't know, it was a little awkward at times, like JJ Watt with the questions. I thought they were a little, I don't know, a little awkward for them. They didn't know what to say sometimes, but it was cool. Listen, I think it was like for charity, so all good.
It was
all good.
Yep. And I don't know if you saw that last putt by Allen. That was a good putt.
That was good. Yeah, one of his few, and he just missed it.
Oh my gosh!
Barkley said he was going to go in the water if he made that, and he was just short. It is what it is. This story of Buffalo Bills life, man.
Bills fans know all too well.
Wide right.
All right, I gotta stop the show now. I gotta go cry again. Few more things I want to talk about on tonight's show, but before I do, guys, make sure you hit that thumbs up button, whether you're watching live with us now, having a great time talking about Friday Night Lights, or if you're watching the replay, hit that thumbs up button. And again, don't forget, we want to thank Mr. Rogers Homes for sponsoring all of Hashtag Sports content. Again, Mr. Rogers Homes, top 1% realtor in Arizona. So make sure you check him out, MrRogersHomes.com. Also go to his YouTube channel and subscribe to him there as well. Trying to get him to over 1,000 subscribers. Not sure if we got him there yet or not. I'm sure someone in the chat can let me know. Big, I'm going to say big news because I actually really like this signing. I think this is a sneaky signing. The Buffalo Bills yesterday signing Tavon Austin free agent. This is one of those sneaky signings that I think Bills fans, even if he doesn't make the team, I think it's a good signing. Tommy, what did you think about the signing, and then what did you think subsequently? We then had to release someone, and we released wide receiver Malik Williams. So, what do you think about those two moves?
Yeah, I don't know anything. I'll be honest. I don't know anything about Malik Williams. I know a lot
Sure.
about Tavon Austin,
Sure.
former first round pick. I think he was the 4th pick or 8th pick overall, something like that,
So.
around that range. He was an
Mm-hmm.
early draft pick. He didn't pan out as a wide receiver, but he panned out for longevity in this league.
Right.
And he was a good kick returner, punt returner early on. I believe he did kick returns.
Mm-hmm.
But he hasn't done it in a while, guys. So
Mm-hmm.
don't get your hopes up too high. I think he's more of just bringing in competition for Marquez
Mm-hmm.
Stevenson, for the other kick returner, punt returners, whoever they're having. I don't think he'll make the team. I'll be honest with you guys, because he's not going to be used as a wide receiver. We're pretty stacked at that position, and I just don't. His better days are behind him probably at that anyway. So I don't see him being used in the slot, because now we got Khalil Shakir for that backup spot behind Crowder. So I just don't see him. But bringing him in for kick return, hey, if it works out and he winds up beating those guys in it, listen, you got a vet guy back there. He's not going to make any mistakes. I'm cool with it. But I just, I think right now it's more about putting pressure, putting a little heat competition on the young guys trying to earn their role as that kick returner, punt returner guy, more than, hey, he's going to be our kick returner, punt returner guy.
Right. Yeah. The last time Tavon Austin was a prominent wide receiver was in 2016. He had 106 targets, 58 catches on 106 targets, which isn't a great percentage, by the way, either. But since then, he hasn't, since 2017 on, add all those years up, and he hasn't had 100 targets in this league. So, yeah, I agree with you, Tommy. More for potential punt, special teams, kick return, things like that. But to me, the reason why I like this signing is simply because, like you said in the beginning, longevity. This guy has knowledge of the game, right? He's been around since 2013. He knows about high expectations being the 8th overall pick, so he knows how to kind of calm those down. And you kind of floated around this question. I want to ask you, Tavon Austin, would you consider him a bust in the NFL? 8th overall pick in his career. I'll go over some career numbers for you. 244 receptions. We're looking at 2,239 yards, 16 touchdowns. Rushing, he's rushed the ball a few times. 1,300 rushing yards and 10 touchdowns there. But personally, I think you want more of a first round pick.
Well, of course, yeah. That's why I alluded to it. He's failed as far as being a first round pick, but he's made it in the NFL. If that means anything, right? Like if he was a 3rd round pick, let's say, or something like that, we'd be like, all right, yeah, that guy, hey, he lived up to his 3rd round evaluation, whatever. But no, he definitely didn't. But like I said, man, he's in the league for a reason this long, right? Like teams keep picking him up, signing him, so he's doing something right. So we'll see. Like I said, we'll see, man. It's going to be interesting, Joe, when cuts are made, because there's going to be a lot of guys, man. Not a lot, but there's going to be quite a few that are going to be like, oh man, that sucks, man. Like that players we might really like, and we just have to move on, or players we might even trade, like just to get a pick for them, because we're going to cut them anyway. So don't be shocked, guys.
That's a very good point. Tavon Austin could turn into a 6th or 7th round pick. Like that's because again, that's the kind of guy he's been. Like he's been on a team every single year, even though we talk about he only had 37 targets last year. Well, another team signed him. He keeps getting signed. So
the Jags, and I think who's on last? Jags.
Yeah, he was on Jags last. Green Bay before that.
Yeah,
so you talk about cut down dates. So I want to remind everyone: August 16th, teams to be down from 90 to 85. August 23rd, 85 to 80, and then August 30th is the big cut down day. You have to drop from 80 to 53. So we're still a few months away from that, luckily. But yeah, I agree with you. I think there's going to be a lot of tough decisions.
Oh, dude, there's a
have to
ton.
make.
There's
Mhm.
a ton. There's a ton at wide receiver. We
Yep.
got a lot of wide receivers in this room. We got a lot of even some. We got a lot of edges.
Yep.
You never know on the edge. Like it's going to be interesting because can't keep them all. Can't keep them all. And some guys, even if you guys got to remember too, even if we put them on a practice squad, they're not safe. The team can pick them up right away.
Correct.
Unless you, and I think you can only make 2 of them.
2. Yeah.
Right, like where they can't touch them. But I mean, then you got to choose, right?
Yep. That's right.
It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's going to be a very interesting time. And remember, guys, at that point, August, Tailgate Talk will be back. So you'll have Tommy and Mikey giving you their takes. I'll be in a role. Maybe I'll join you guys on Tailgate Talk every once in a while, just to do that until the season starts, where I will start doing live game play-by-play and reaction videos. Like I always do. Always enjoy hanging out with the hashtag Nation or the Mafia for that matter. All right, so the last topic I want to talk about, and then we can let you go and enjoy your Friday night. 2 prominent Buffalo Bills, well, 1 prominent Buffalo Bills player, another guy who spent some time with the Buffalo Bills, announced their retirement this week. Ryan Fitzpatrick. I think he made the announcement with his shirt on, but I'm not 100% sure about that. I don't know. But the last time we saw Ryan Fitzpatrick was at the Chiefs game, and he was rocking Bills Mafia with no shirt. And Frank Gore. Frank Gore spent 2 seasons with us, right? For the Buffalo Bills, one season.
Just one.
Okay.
Devin Singletary's rookie year, 2019.
But Frank Gore, for his credit, you want to talk about longevity, man. Like he's 3rd all time in rushing, and I think he had no more than 30 yards a season. So that's just how that speaks to his longevity. But
man.
Tommy, my question for you is, what are your favorite Fitzpatrick Bills moments? And if you have a favorite Frank Gore moment,
I have a Frank Gore, not really, because he was only with us 1 season. So it's really, listen, man. I follow the Bills, and I really everything else is like a distant. I don't. I might have seen plays he did in San Francisco, but they don't stick in my head like Buffalo Bills plays.
Sure.
Fitzpatrick, I would say that the ultimate, obviously, is the Patriots comeback win. That's kind of when he became Fitzmagic, was that game.
That's exactly right.
But
was born.
He was just, that's one player I can say, not that I followed his career after he left Buffalo, but I always remember seeing him. Like he always was somewhere where I'm like, oh, that guy Fitz. Like he's always doing something that I was like, oh, and he was just a stand-up dude. Had nothing but good things to say about Buffalo. And I have nothing bad. Like he'll always be in the heart of Bills Mafia. He loves. He comes here. He reps here. Mm-hmm. What I loved most about him is wherever he played, they would interview him. Like just like we do. We interview our players. They have their own like whatever PR or whatever. But they would ask him what's the best fans, and you would think like the normal thing would be a player normally is the homer. He'll say that team. Yeah. He always went back and said Bills fans are the best. No matter if you play for the Dolphins, wherever, the Jets, like, always refer to us as the best fan base, which is really cool because a lot of players, they probably don't say that or they'll lie just to, because they're playing for a new team. They don't want, stay face. They don't want to be honest, but that was always awesome of him. I'll never forget the when he was looking like Conor McGregor when he came out,
which
that was really dope.
To that point, because I don't think we talked about this when Von Miller signed. I wasn't as upset as some Bills fans were about Von Miller's reaction or what he said about the Rams, like leaving the Rams and how sad he was about that.
Yeah,
and some Bills fans were very upset about that. And I was like, why? Like he's here. Like all I care about is that he's here.
I don't care about that. Yeah, who cares? That I don't. And listen, he's here and he has never experienced Buffalo yet.
Right.
So that could change.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. I'm just saying. So I wouldn't. He's just being honest as at this point of his career. Where's his favorite? And I don't mind that. And by the way, Frank Gore, I'm a huge Hurricane fan.
Yeah.
So
there
yes,
you go.
I didn't follow him in the NFL. And like I said, I stick to the Buffalo Bills. But I know he had a hell of a career. I know he's, I think, third all time or fourth all time.
Third all time.
Third all time. So listen, it's very, 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 very tough for any NFL player to last as long as he did. I think the longevity of a football player is like less than 3 years. Right. So for him, a running back, especially a running back, right, who's taking hits after hit after hit after hit, and a guy that is being used as much as he was early on in his career, right, to last as long as he did, and he was coming off major injuries too, from college and the University of Miami, which that's why he slipped in the draft when he got drafted by the 49ers initially, because I think teams were very wary of, will he last in this league? He's already had 2 major injuries, and he did, and that's kind of like Willis McGahee, by the way, guys. So Willis McGahee had a major injury, and he lasted a pretty good amount of time without getting a significant injury against. But yeah, Frank Gore, those are rare breeds, bro. Those are just like the Adrian Petersons of the world, the Frank Gores of the world.
And that's why I always tell you. What's funny about Frank Gore, and that's why I'm laughing when you said he always would take those hits. What's funny about Frank Gore is he's retiring from the NFL and now he's boxing. He's not.
I have that video, bro. He knocked that dude out cold.
Like, it's not like he's like going to be like, I'm going to go chill in some warm place.
No, bro. He's staying active. He stays active.
Let me hit somebody.
I think that's just, you know what it is, Joe, with that, like those kind of players, like those people, he's like a Herschel Walker. So Herschel Walker did the same thing. Like Herschel Walker stayed fit. Like, you know, certain players go retire, get fat, and they're done, right? Like, they're injured. Like, you know what I mean? Their knees are hurt. Their fingers are about. They don't want nothing to do with nothing. Go on a boat, get fat, drink, eat pizza. They're done.
And good for them. Like, you know what?
Right. Good for hell yeah, dude. I don't know the pain they're in. Like, but then there's players like Frank Gore, like Herschel Walker. Like, I'm sure there's others that are just, they can't stop. Like that's in their nature. They want to be constantly moving and working out and take it to the next level. Like, you know, and kudos to him. Like he probably would be like that, bro, to the day he dies. You know, that's just his mentality. He works his ass off. Like he enjoys it. Right. So yeah, bro, Frank Gore, man, awesome career, man. Good for you, brother. You know, and he, you know, if you really think about his career going third all time, it was really more about, because he wasn't, his numbers obviously got not bad, but they declined as he got older. Absolutely. Now go back. So he was in the league how many seasons, Joe? When did he get drafted?
16.
So 16 seasons. Okay. Bruce Smith, I believe, was 19 seasons.
Yep.
So I just want to throw this one out there, and I know I bring it up a lot, but look how long it took. So it took 16 seasons for him to get up to third in rushing. Bruce Smith did 19 seasons to get first all time, 200 sacks. That, I keep telling you, Joe, like those records, like just to get up third, right? All time rushing. For the next guy to do it, he's going to have to last 16, like around that same range, be consistent. Yeah. And even Gore's numbers decline, right? Even though he lasted 16 seasons, he could have probably played another. But
you think
what would that have done?
You think about the NFL today, though. Like no running backs can hit these numbers because
that's what I'm trying. That's what I'm saying, and that's why I bring up Bruce Smith. The same thing, like no edge. It's super rare. Look at Aaron Donald, already talking about retirement. Right, Von Miller. How many more years does he have left? My point is to get to 200, guys. I don't think it's ever going to be broken because of the longevities and the injury and players just saying, "Hey, my body's done enough. I want to move on and do better things or move on to like a lot of these guys. Some of these guys are Joe. Some of these guys that are retiring early are fine. They're physically fine, mentally fine. They're just done. Like they're like, hey, you know what? I want to do this now.
They want to leave while they are still mentally and physically.
That's
fine,
what I'm saying. Right. So it's tough.
Yeah. You look at the all-time sacks leaders right now. Like, so you have Bruce Smith 200, Reggie White 198. At third is Kevin Green, who a great defensive player in his own right. 160.
I know. It's not even
160, 40 away from like that's
and he lasted a while, guys. Kevin Green was a beast.
Yeah.
And then look at the players below. I think the last player, I think Jason Taylor's around there somewhere, if I'm not mistaken, Strahan.
He's 7th.
But if you look at current players, I think it's J.J. Watt maybe and Von Miller, and they're so
so far away.
They'll never catch up, guys.
They're so far away.
Trust me when I tell you this, at least in my lifetime, I'm telling you, I don't ever see that record being broken in my lifetime. Maybe because, listen, guys, they'd have to average 10 sacks a season for 20 seasons.
20 years.
Do you know how hard that is, guys? 20. You guys are talking. Not only that, and then you know what's funny too. I know we're going down a little rabbit hole, Joe, but I was thinking the other day about Tom Brady. Tom Brady's been in the league 22 seasons, right? Pretty much going on 22nd season, right? Drafted in 2000. So I understand, like, we give him the praise because yes, he's in his 40s, and that's very impressive, no doubt.
Yeah.
But let's be real with you. Let's be real. Quarterbacks have taken a lot less hits later on, especially late, right? Like, it's very protected now. Tom Brady's not getting he's not getting yoked up, right? Defensive edges and offensive linemen, defensive linemen, especially in that time, even now, they take, they're constantly hitting each other. It's a battle. They're getting constantly hit, constantly. Quarterbacks aren't constantly hit, right? They're not taking hits like that. These guys are just boom, 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 like all game, right? So, and then you're talking about late 80s, 90s football where it was brutal when you had offensive linemen that would stomp on you, and like the rules were way different. And for Bruce Smith to only get one injury his whole career is wild. That is crazy. So you gotta, that's why I'm telling you, Joe, I just don't, that's why I think I give Bruce Smith being in the league 19 seasons a little bit more credit than Tom Brady being in 22, because I think they play just two different positions where one's way more brutal than the other. Right. And that's not a knock on Brady. I can't believe what Brady's doing at his age, but I just I just think the quarterbacks are a little bit obviously way more protected than any other player on the field today. So you're not, for instance, I remember when Von Miller came out, and I know you remember it, when Von Miller was like, hey, I want to beat Bruce Smith's record. You remember that when he made that statement? Oh, yeah. And he was determined, and good for him. And I'm glad, but it's not going to happen. And he knows this now, right? But look at his stats. His stats are, remember J.J. Watt, the whole talk about J.J. Watt? It's going to happen. Here's the next guy. It's going to happen. No, it's not going to happen. J.J. Watt can't stay healthy. He can't.
And J.J. Watt still isn't even in the top 20.
That's just caught up. And now, the next guy's going to be T.J. Watt. That's going to be the next talk, right? Until T.J. Watt starts to break down, because they're using because that's just the way it works. Your body breaks down in time. So, yeah, bro, I think Bruce Smith is the most.
It's pretty safe.
I think it's kind of the most underrated, not talked about NFL record, in my opinion. Yeah. A record in general, sports record, that's not really talked about as much as a lot of other records. And it should be, because that's just unbelievable.
So like you said, Aaron Donald, already talking about retirement, 98 sacks. Now, I mean, it's very impressive. That includes a 20 and a half sack season.
It is, but how many? Okay, but 98 sacks, how many seasons?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
This so 8 and going on 8. Going on his 9th or going on his 8th?
Going on his 9th.
Going, like going.
So if he kept this average up, like, great. But he's also already 31 years of age. He's,
right. So. He'd have to keep it up.
Yep.
No injuries.
Right.
Want to stay, keep playing football for 9 more years.
Yep.
It's not going to happen. I'm telling you. It's super rare. It just hasn't happened. And how many players on that list who are phenomenal? Hall of Famers.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
Great talent. Well, Kevin Green.
I think everyone in the top 20 who's eligible, like Terrell Suggs is not eligible for the Hall of Fame yet, but he's going to be a Hall of Famer, right?
Right.
We just know. I think I'm looking down this top 20 list. You have Lawrence Taylor, Hall of Famer, John Abraham, Jared Allen, John Randall, Richard Dent, DeMarcus Ware is not eligible yet, but he'll probably be one. Is Jason Taylor in the Hall of Fame?
I think Jason Taylor made it.
Okay. Strahan, Dolman, Peppers, Green, White, Bruce.
Peppers freak. Right.
Yeah. Right. I mean, right. Peppers was a freak, and Peppers had a long career.
Yes.
159 and a half. So.
That's great, and that's impressive, guys.
That's
these are
impressive.
all
right. Absolutely.
Knock out Bruce Smith and Kevin Green. Knock out those 3 guys: Kevin Green, Bruce Smith, Reggie White, Kevin Green. And then we're like, okay, wow, like those are, but they're all relatively close. Like, then you're like, okay,
correct.
140s, 135. Like, then you're like, okay, maybe this guy could beat the 140 range. We're talking 200. The next guy up from that 40, like, it's not going to happen. It's just not like quarterback records, in my opinion, will always be broken because the game's
just change the rules, right?
Changing the rules. You got the extra week now. It's a lot very quarterback friendly. It's just different. Like it's a different, like, bro, I hate to say it, but even like the greatest quarterback, in my opinion, like quarterback, I'm talking about like just overall pure raw talent. And I know you guys are going to kill me, but Dan Marino, in my opinion, like greatest arm, greatest spiral, greatest bullet. But he was around a different era. He was around a tough era. Jim Kelly too, but Jim Kelly didn't have what Dan Marino had. He wasn't as gifted, like arm strength, spiral wise, throw it a mile. Like he had a running game. Dan Marino was the truth. If Dan Marino played in the 2000s now, I think he would squash. His records would be probably tough to get, tough to beat. It's a different. But Josh Allen, you'll see. Josh Allen will climb that. If he stays healthy, Josh Allen will climb that record book before you know it. I'm telling you guys. Look at the yards already, right? Look at what Josh Allen's done the last 2 seasons already, right? 4,000 twice, correct? Correct me if I'm wrong, right? So back-to-back 4,000 yards.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. So if he continues that, I mean, depending on how long he stays in the league, he's going to be up there.
But like you said, this record, like Justin Herbert will be up there if he, if he excels. Like that's just the way that's just the way the NFL is these days.
I couldn't tell you. And then the next guy coming up, like there's always, it's just the quarterback friendly league, and that listen, the records will continually, I think, get swapped around. The only record, and like I said, I just don't think that sack record, it's just a different position. And even, and when we were talking about, and then why we were talking about this, because Frank Gore, even the running back record, like, the rushing yards, it's a tough one. You got to last in this league a long time. I mean, look at the great running backs, Joe, that came through here, right? That we were like, oh my God, Chris Johnson. I'll bring up another. We were like amazed. This guy is unbelievable. He was. How long he last, right? Look at the guy for the Rams, Todd Gurley. Like, I mean, he was good for a little bit, but until injury caught up, and that's a wrap, right? Christian McCaffrey, right? We're like, oh my God, can't stay healthy. Barry Sanders, was sick of it, got out of the game. Didn't even get hurt, just got out of the game. So, I mean,
the Lions screwed him over mightily, but yeah.
No, but he did, but in my opinion, he's the best ever, greatest running back of all time. If he played for the Cowboys, the record would never be broken. I'm being for real. You're behind the greatest offensive line ever.
Yeah.
Of course, Emmitt Smith is gonna. And I'm not knocking Emmitt Smith, but Emmitt Smith was no Barry Sanders. Come on,
right.
Like Emmitt Smith is no Adrian Peterson. I'll be real with you guys. Adrian Peterson is another freak kind of athlete who came from ACL, who played week 1, like and had like 2,000 yard season.
Insane, right? That's crazy.
It's just, but they're not around often, guys.
I hope Trey White takes whatever he had to get back from his ACL.
I don't know what he had, man, but he had bro. Trey White should reach right out to him, like, bro, what doctor did you see, man?
Because not only did he do that, he did that late in his career. So it was just,
I know,
it's crazy,
and still busting out 90-yard runs for Washington. Like when people were like, "Oh, this guy's done. This guy." Do sign him. He's a 150-yard game. Like, what is old Adrian Peterson? But man, it's just but my point is, guys, I guess in overall scope is Frank Gore. He had to last that long to get third. It's very, very certain positions, and that's another one I think I want to say, Joe, is running back, where it just takes a toll on your body. Like wide receiver too is another position that they just don't really get hit a lot. It's like they can also break records a lot. You know what I mean? It's a different part of the game, running backs, offensive linemen, defensive linemen, those are all brutal.
We should tell you a lot about Jerry Rice, right? Like his records all still just stand there,
Jerry Rice is phenomenal. I mean, like me, like, we're talking about the greatest, a lot of people debate this, but greatest football player of all time. Now, I'm going to say it is Tom Brady because of the rings, But if we want to talk about greatest overall talent, in my opinion, I'm going to say Lawrence Taylor. Like gifted wise, like listen, I'm a Buffalo fan. I get he's a Giant. It sucks, but overall, Lawrence Taylor was as a freak.
Yeah,
like he was he really was, guys. He just had off-field troubles. Let's be real. That's what really cost Lawrence Taylor's career, right? Lawrence Taylor he had problems, right? Off-field issues. But if he didn't, who knows? I have no idea. But there's also another guy for Kansas City who died early, Joe, which was Derek Thomas. Who was an absolute stud. And that's another record. I think he had 7 sacks in the game, which is that's a tough one. I mean, can it happen? That might, but boy, that's a tough one.
All right, so Dwayne comes in with the last question he says it's the last question, but Dwayne, we know you better than that. Let's be honest. Will we see the same Trey White this year after this injury? I don't think so.
So tough.
I don't think so. I think we're gonna have to wait to 2023 to see the Trey White we know and love, because he's not going to be ready when the season starts. So he has to kind of come in, when the season's already midway, if not more than midway going. And I don't think we're going to see Trey White the same until 2023. And we have no idea how he's going to come back from this injury. So that's what I think. I don't know, Tommy.
I have no idea. That every player, and like we just talked about Adrian Peterson. I mean, at 2,000 yards. I mean, I'm like, every player is different. It's every player's body's different, or every person's body, right? Like how you come back from an injury. Like I got a buddy who had that happen. It was like something really bad to his knee playing basketball. A freak thing too. A lot of these things, like Trey White's, same thing. It was a non-contact kind of, and it's usually that's what the worst ones are, right? For some odd reason. And my buddy still, I mean, it's been like a year and a half. He's still like just, waking up in some pain. Like, so everybody's different, guys. I have that's a tough question to answer. I have no idea. I'll be real with you, because he could come back and be like, damn, Trey White looks like Trey White. Or he could come back and be like, damn, he lost a step. I don't know until we see him. And I know a lot of people were like upset. I tweeted out saying, don't expect, I said I wouldn't expect, and people were like, oh my God, Twitter guys, by the way. And I'm like, hey, I said I wouldn't expect him to be back week 1 through 6. Like I can see him coming back after the bye, which is week 8. Like how I see it, guys, and I know everybody's everyone likes to try to read between the lines, and I'm sometimes guilty of it too. Like when McDermott's like, oh, he's on pace. Like that doesn't mean anything, right? Like McDermott is not going to put Trey out there if he's not 100%. Even if he's 96.5%, he's not bringing him out. It's just not going to happen. So what I personally believe that they're going to do is they're going to probably put him on the PUP list, and he's going to return week 8, in my opinion. And that's fine. I'm okay with that, because it gives him more time. You got that bye week, right? Early bye week. He can come back 100. I don't want a Trey at 95%. I want a Trey feeling. I want to make sure it all's good, because you got to remember too, a lot of this is mental, right? So you get on the field, right? It's mental. His first play, like you worry. Come on, guys. You're having a major injury. You want that first play means a lot, right? So we'll see. I mean,
that first hit to the knee is going to be
the first hit to the knee, right? The first cut, right? Him planting, like all this stuff is all mental, man. Like he's going to have to go through the motions, and I can't see a scenario, Joe, where he's out there week 1. Like, because listen, that means he's going to miss training. He's going to miss most of camp, right? So guys, factor that in, right? Miss pretty much camp. Then he's going to miss preseason, right? So he has no work preseason. And then you're just going to throw him out there week 1.
Right.
Where he's going to be like mentally like good, physically good, like ready to, like, I don't even know if I would want that. I'll be real with you guys. Now, maybe week 3, maybe if you feel he's ready week 1, maybe you don't start him, but maybe get him out there a few plays. Maybe, you know what I mean? And then you slowly put him in week 3 or something. If you're like, okay, I like the way he moved out there. But I personally, I don't know if he doesn't play preseason, right? If he doesn't get in there, I don't want to see him week 1. I'll be real with you guys. That would be a disaster. I think it would be a mistake And who knows? What if we rush him out too early, get hurt?
That
Just
gets
saying.
hurt again.
And then we're done, right? Then we're all like, why would he put him out week one?
Talk about Bill's Twitter then, man.
All right. I'm like, and I'll be like this. Well,
yeah,
I did tell
sorry,
you.
guys. Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right, guys. Hey, it's been a blast with Tommy hanging out this Friday night. And again, we'll see what happens. We'll keep you guys updated on social media as far as our schedule. And I'm at the point. This is the time of year where I don't want to see a lot of Bills news because normally, you know what they say, no news is good news. I'll take the no news.
Right.
So we do have another week of OTAs coming up. But after that, hopefully we don't hear too much. But you'll be hearing from us plenty. So make sure you hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed to #sports, and we'll keep you updated on all Buffalo Bills news. So for Tommy, myself, thank you for joining us on this Friday night. We look forward to talking to you all soon. Until we do,
go Bills.
There you go.